Welcome back to week number 9 of Master Duel Challenger Cup action. We had YCS Lyon this week and therefore we had no Challenger Cups over the weekend, but we still had a couple of small cups happening over the week and they are definitely worth looking into because you can already see the first list on the screen is the one taking down the Joshua Schmidt Challenger Cup. 32 player one. Fen Tiris is the guy that piloted it and it's actually Thunder Dragon. Branded Thunder Dragon or branded Fusions Plus Thunder Dragon cards, but that is actually a wild deck and that has not won any Challenger Cup yet, but it took down the one from good old Mr. Joshua Schmidt. He played this list all the way through Swiss and then in Top Cut he also started playing a little bit of Floander Reese, as you can say here. So another Floander Reese enjoyer, and honestly this makes me kind of curious about this deck in the TCG because in Master Duel, it still is seeing quite reasonable success even without the barrier statues, so maybe in the TCG we're going to have the same outcome. And then the list that he played in the final game of the finals, he actually defeated our moderator Rick in game 3, and he went with a heavy going second list. As you can see, Denko's in there, all the Kaijus, Shifter, Pancratops, of course the Luna stuff as well, because Luna makes you just bounce your Kaijus back to hand. I love the Squadron here. He actually synchro summoned into Baron on the opponent's turn. Absolute wild stuff. Worked out in a really long and interesting game and made him the winner of this first Challenger Cup of the week. Second Challenger Cup of the week was won by Lithium, 64 players, Scar Black being the one taking it down. Scar Black, definitely a regular in the Challenger Cup scene. I have seen him topping multiple events already, but now he got that W as well. And looking at this list, it is pretty standard. I'm really interested to see how those hand trap decks are going to develop, because now Sprite will come into the game as well, and Sprite is such a big contender, and I feel like it is going to be the deck that you have to prepare for. So you may as well have to prepare your hand trap lineup for that specific deck, and Mathmech has to find a way to actually be able to compete with the Sprite deck, and I really want to see that. So next Challenger Cup was the one by Ambush, 32 players, and we see Tony Dispiano piloting a pretty interesting runic stun list, and I can say that because I have topped multiple cups with that deck. And Paradox Fusion, a card that is also used in Lyon in the featured match when that deck was happening over there, is of course very interesting. Then we see Messenger of Peace, Kaiser Colosseum, the one of Lava Golem, one of Rageki, and all that kind of funky stuff. Extra deck of course doesn't really matter, but that is somewhat of an interesting list, not gonna lie. The one of Called By is doing the rest for me, but it was successful for him, and most of the time he actually played this Despia list, and this Despia list also is somewhat interesting because it actually is main decking triple enemy controller, which is not the most popular card in Despia overall. Also not running the Patchwork engine, which is pretty much a staple engine lately in the Despia deck, but he was like, no, I don't need it, here we are, that's my list, and he managed to take down the whole cup. Next up we have the René Brain Cup, 32 players, Anemone E being the winner of it, and also being the one that defeated me in the finals. I reached finals of this, but I wasn't able to close it out because Anemone was just better than me. In most of Swiss, he played this Tri-Brigade Lyridisk list, which has not seen a whole lot of success lately. But honestly, when I played versus it, I realized, this deck is actually quite nice, because with the C-Mark on field, you can protect yourself from a lot of targeting, you can have the Omni-Negate with Apex Avian, and therefore I think this deck is pretty versatile, going first and also going second, of course. But then he also had a Runic Stun list in his arsenal, and this list actually, I played versus this list, and I have to say, some cards don't really add up for me. Like, for example, the Into the Void, I don't really know where we're going with that. I don't really know why we're only playing one. There can be only one skill drain. Why not decide for one or the other, whichever we like more? And also, I'm not sure why we play Exchange, but actually he resolved Exchange versus me grabbing my Card of Demise, which was, of course, very huge. And then he also had a going second runic list for the Sword Soul matchup with Token Collector, Nibiru, and of course, the There Can Be Only One, and also the very interesting Ultimate Slayer. Next Challenger Cup, though, is the one by Volt, 32 players. And maybe its destiny took down another cup. Not the first one, we know, we have talked about him here before. This is the Sword Soul list that he brought to the tournament. He was like, yeah, that didn't really work out. I only had one Shishao, that's why there's only one in the list. He said he lost every single game that he played with his deck, but he played another deck, and of course it is 60 card Dragalink. That's the deck he's known for. That's the deck that he's absolutely crushing with. That is the list he ran. He ran the Gamma driver, but also Beta package here. And then, of course, a bunch of hand traps that he can use with the Chaos Ruler down here. And just all around a pretty powerful list that can play through a lot of stuff, has a bunch of gas, and I definitely understand why he was so successful with it. Speaking of people that have already been successful and are being successful again, Alex00000 from the community won another Challenger Cup, the one by Riley with 32 players. This list was the one he used for the cup before that he won, but he replaced the Spell Canceller with 1 Talents. That is what he told me. But besides that, pretty much the other list that he already was successful with, that's his Striker list that we already talked about, his going second Ignister list, but also one new deck from him is the Despia deck. And his Despia deck is actually somewhat interesting because we see triple Springan's Kit and also no Patchwork Engine. So that is definitely not our most regular Despia list we have ever seen, and rather a little bit of an interesting list. And honestly, it looks like a little bit of a budget list to me even, because the Springan's Kit is a rare, so maybe it had to do with, like, Alex has like 20 different decks, all of them prepared for the meta game, so maybe he just didn't have enough crafting materials to actually get that Despia deck onto full power as well. But yeah, as I said, not that many Challenger Cups this week, and therefore the video is already over. If you enjoy my content, I would absolutely appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, or maybe leave a comment on this video. Also, check out my daily streams over on Twitch. I'm absolutely back into the action after YCS Lyon. See you very soon for more content here on this channel.